I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 173, Transactional versus Generous Giving. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Today, we are going to talk about different kinds of giving. I'm going to share with you why I decided to just really go all in on this topic, shine a light on it for you. Before I do that, I want to make sure you know that my group program is open, that we added in something this year that's pretty amazing. A question I get a lot is it just a group or is there one-on-one as well? The answer is now, yes, it is both. Yes, it is both group and one-on-one. When you join, you get the full year inside the group, and you get 2 one-on-one calls a month with one of my coaches. My coaches are incredible. Everybody loves them. And I want you to know that you will have all of the support that you need in this space. Even if you are doing other things like couples work or individuals somewhere else, there are always things that we can go deeper on. There are always things that we can use all those sessions for. So if you want a full year of the best support, the best really dialing in, getting deep, facing all of it, really coming through solid on the other side, really solid, get yourself in there, okay? You can apply in the link in the show notes. Get your application in, and we will look at yours, and if it's a great fit, we want to welcome you in. All right, today we're going to talk about transactional versus generous giving. To start out, I'm going to share a faux pas, okay? When my husband and I were dating, we had some rough patches. We had some times where we just did not know what was going on, where he was struggling with a lot of guilt about dating after losing a spouse to cancer. I was dealing with some of the insecurity of wanting to know that I was being chosen from after what I had come through. And I remember his birthday came, and I remember feeling kind of frustrated with how things were and not really going the way I thought they would or the way that I thought they should go. And rather than just letting myself kind of sit back and do something for his birthday, but not really have to overkill, I did the opposite. And if I remember right, I believe it was his 40th birthday. So it was kind of a big birthday. And I wrote out this whole list of 40 things that I loved, and I texted them to him throughout the day thinking, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I felt kind of yucky. I felt not great. I thought that he should just love it and look how amazing I am. And I myself kind of felt yucky. Isn't that interesting? There was something in it that felt false to me. Not that I didn't think all of those things, but it felt a little bit forced, and it felt a little bit transactional. Like I was wanting to get something from him. Like I was wanting to get this validation of, look how great at the time, my girlfriend is, right? And in time, I understood more of what that was. It was more transactional than anything. And since then, there's so many times that I've done so many things for him purely out of love, just out of love, because I love him and because I care about him. And while we do hope sometimes for connection with the generosity that we give, connection, kindness, things like that, it wasn't something I had to have or something that I've had to have over the years. Sometimes it is way more fulfilling for me than for anyone else. And that is the kind of generosity that we're going to talk about. Okay, so first of all, let's define what transactional giving is. Transactional giving happens when we are giving to try to control or ensure some kind of outcome. We're trying to get something. We're trying to get affection. We're trying to get commitment from the other person. Like, now that I've done this, they've got to be in, right? We're trying to get reassurance. After infidelity, it's really easy to fall into this pattern as a way to try to regain a sense of safety or control. Like, if I just keep doing serving, if I keep just showing up serving and maybe bringing her coffee or bringing her whatever it is, right? And cleaning up and this and that, then she's got to take me. She's got to pick me. She's got to just jump all in with me, right? Sometimes it's gifts. I've seen this too many times to count. Gifts to prove love or loyalty, this strong desire to renew vows or, make these grand gestures, these big trips, things like that, when they're not even out of the woods at all yet with trust. And it just comes off as feeling a little bit insincere. Another way to know if it's a transactional type thing is expecting immediate gratitude or a shift in behavior after making a gesture. So expecting immediate gratitude or a shift in behavior after making a gesture. Like, well, look what I did. So now you should soften to me. Now you should want to be intimate with me. What's the problem here? I see no problem here, right? This can have an intense emotional toll because it can backfire. So the person that is thinking that they're being so giving can then be resentful and think nothing I ever do is good enough. I'm never going to get through here. Wow, she is tough. I'm using she in this example. It can go either way, okay? Totally can go either way. It can create more misunderstanding. It can cause further disconnection. What is generous giving? Generous giving is different in that it comes from a true place of love and authenticity. There are no strings attached. I want to do this for you because I want to do it for you, because I care about you, because it's what feels right, because it's what feels good. Not because I'm trying to bargain for something in return. I'm not trying to weasel something out of you. It just is coming from this open place in my heart because I genuinely care for you. And often it's in this context of infidelity, I feel genuine remorse and it's the least I can do and I don't expect a thing from you. This can be generously listening without expecting validation, generously listening without expecting immediate reciprocity. It's giving with no expectation of what you might get back. You're offering support and affection because it's who you want to be, because it aligns with the person you want to be. It's because it's the kind of person, there's something in you in this space, especially after infidelity, that has maybe shown you the difference, where you can see where maybe you were acting this way before and you can feel what it feels like, and you no longer want to be that person. You want to be a person who gives with an open heart from a generous heart. This is not as a test of their response. This kind of giving can be felt. It's not expected that it's felt, but the other person can feel the difference. And this is what fosters genuine connection and mutual respect and healing. This is the kind of energy we want here. This is the kind of energy we need here to do the healing that needs to happen. Why does this matter so much after infidelity? This is something that I see a lot. I see it a lot. I see it in my couples a lot. Some of the things that I see are the person who was unfaithful, the person who did the betraying, making their own list of how they're going to show up and calling it good enough for them. Okay, where they're like, well, look, I did this and this and this. Look, I did this and this. What more do you want? Like, when are you going to just like get back to this status quo place with me? Come on, right? And the problem is that after infidelity, in reality, not just one partner, but both partners often struggle with feeling secure and understood. Both of them. Both of them are feeling shaky. Both of them can be susceptible to this kind of giving, actually, as a way to influence or control the healing process. Okay, so I want to give an example of what I see from both partners sometimes, not always, okay? Sometimes though. Sometimes there's the initial shock, and then sometimes the betrayed partner is so invalidated by the whole thing that they are looking for being chosen, being picked, like, pick me, please stay with me, don't divorce me, don't leave me. And they can fall into this kind of transactional giving as a way to kind of manipulate the situation their way. They can be very generous, overly patient, overly understanding in an insincere way, in a way that it's fear driven. It's in a way that masks over how they actually feel to try to manipulate the outcome. Like, if I show up in this way and just suck it up and just chalk it up to a mistake and we're just going to move forward from it, then maybe we can keep our family, avoid all the pain of our family breaking apart. And so this is what I'm going to do. And if we see that it's not working, it can cause more and more panic, anger, resentment, right? Rather than giving space to each partner to really decide what they want. Okay, to really have space to decide what they want. Both people involved. Obviously, for the person who is betrayed, this kind of energy, it can feel very insincere, especially after often many lying behaviors for a long time, many deceptive behaviors for a long time. They can go, how can this person be so cruel and then be so loving? And it can feel just very insincere. And so this is where really tapping into, how do I want to show up for my partner who I have betrayed, because it's who I want to be, because it's me moving from this position of being manipulative, of being deceitful, and moving into this place of kindness and generosity and respect for my spouse. This is who I want to be. Very different energy. And I'm telling you, the person on the other end can feel it. They can feel it. I have clients that will say, he's doing this and this and this. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. And sometimes my clients, the ones that are saying that, can't feel it because they've kept their guard up so high that they can't receive some of those things. And this is where my coaching comes in, of going, is this a situation where you will not let them, you will not receive anything that they give because you're so afraid to, right? We can understand that. Or is this a situation where there's something in you, there's something wise in you that is saying, hold off, and just like allowing all of this, of just receiving it all, of just putting your own walls down and letting him all back in, right? And knowing the difference is really, really important. Sometimes they can feel that it's the minimum effort. Sometimes they can feel that it's insincere. Sometimes they feel a kind of resentment or a kind of scathing anger right under it. I'm going to cook you dinner. And then if there were words right behind it, you better like it and you better appreciate it, because I haven't done this much before and you should appreciate it. Or what if she doesn't appreciate it? Then might as well just give up, right? The recipient can feel that. The recipient can feel it. They know, okay? They know. They can feel the insincerity in it. The opportunity for growth here is in practicing generous giving and how it can rebuild trust and create a foundation for true intimacy. It can build something bigger that allows so much more heart space, so much more giving and receiving. All right, now we're going to move into the last section here, which is about really understanding within yourself the difference, moving into more of a generous way of giving and moving out of transactional giving to try to get something back, okay? A question that you can ask yourself when you are doing something is, am I doing this because it feels right or because I want something in return? What is your answer to that? And if there's something you want in return, what is it? And how are you anticipating you'll feel if you get that in return? And how are you anticipating feeling if you don't? And are you willing to do the thing just because you want to do it, regardless of what you're going to get back? Instead of jumping right into big, grand gestures so you can feel good about the things that you're doing, start with low stakes gestures that you can offer freely. And something that is just a truth is that trust is lost in one moment. When people find out about the indiscretions, it's lost in a moment, and it takes a long time to rebuild. Trust is not built in one grand moment. It is built in many, many small moments. So what are small, low stakes things that you can say yes to and offer freely? And say, I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I'm trying to be better, because I want to be the kind of person that shows up for my spouse. And this is something that I can do, that I can commit to, that I can be consistent with. It can be planning a date night where you put in the heavy lifting of what the plan is. It can be over communicating. It can be, this is when I'm going to be home, and do you need me to grab anything on the way home? Or just grabbing things, being attentive to the home and what might be needed and grabbing it because you're just paying attention. It can be being at home and paying attention to the home and the things that need to happen and becoming more in tune with that instead of just expecting everything to happen around you. And then every once in a while hopping in to help. And I put that in air quotes because in my opinion, working in the home is not help. It's just taking care of the home. It can be the things that we think of as gifts, like giving a gift, like a clothing or an experience or jewelry, things like that. But you're doing it because you want to, not because you're expecting something back. The next piece is if you're struggling with expectations, express them rather than letting them fester. Sometimes we do want something back. This is our human nature. And rather than grappling with it alone, part of becoming more intimate, part of building the kind of relationship where you can both be honest is talking about it. I'm doing this, and it can be part of me really wants this from you. Part of me really wants to know that you're not going to leave, that you're not going to kick me out. And the other part of me just wants to do this because I want to do it. But I'm going to tell you I'm really scared. And saying that it can't be so that they can push your fears aside by saying just the right thing. It can just be an honest communication of where you're at and not letting things fester. Okay? Another really important piece here is that generous giving doesn't mean and can't mean giving endlessly to your own demise, at your own expense, sacrificing your own needs. This is a mistake I see a lot too, where sometimes the one who did the betraying feels kind of like the scum of the earth, like they have no rights, they have no human right to ask for anything. And I just don't agree with that. I just don't. In fact, it's perpetuating unhealthy patterns. It's perpetuating things that have to go, that have to get better in order to create something more meaningful and lasting and without resentment. Okay? So just because you're giving doesn't mean that you give beyond what you can, beyond your own limits. You still have human value inherently. You still have rights. You still have needs, and it's okay to have your own back to, and to have limits around what you're willing to do and give. Pay attention to this. Pay attention. Is this sustainable? Can I keep doing this for the long haul? This is something that feels really good right now, but can I keep it up? That's a really important question, because your spouse is going, is this actually a change? Or is this something that's going to stick for a month or two and then go back to the old ways? So asking yourself the question first of, can I keep this up, is really, really important. Okay? All right, to wrap this one up, shifting out of the space of transactional to generous giving and living, it's not easy, especially when your emotions are raw. When our emotions are raw, we're extra vulnerable. We feel extra risk. We feel extra fearful that we want to know how this thing's going to go. So it becomes a pretty brave act, pretty courageous to just give because you want to. But it's one of the most profound ways to actually truly create healing and connection after infidelity, because it's coming from an energetic place that feels so different than fear and trying to control an outcome. The other person, I promise you, I've worked with so many people at this point, and they can feel it. They can feel when it's sincere and when it's kind of manipulative to try to get something in return. They can feel it. Generous giving just to give allows the other person to relax. It allows them to let their guard down. They know that there's not something that they're needing to be extracted from. They can feel the difference. I encourage you to look at your own patterns of giving and challenge yourself to practice an act of generous giving this week, just because it's what you want to do and who you want to be. I will add too that sometimes we give with the fear that the other person is going to think that all is well now. For my people who have been betrayed, it's okay for you to give too. And I want you to remember that you can give from a generous place, knowing that they might, who knows what they think of it. They might have expectations. They might think, oh, we're good now. It doesn't mean you're good. It doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. It means you wanted to be generous, you wanted to give, and that you're still being cautious and careful. And it's okay for you to do so. And it's even okay for you to communicate that. You don't have to withhold the parts of you that are natural to give. Those of you who are natural givers, that this comes easily, you don't have to withhold those parts. You don't have to just do nothing, but only give if it's coming from a true generous place in you, not from any kind of fear or trying to get something back. Okay? And pay attention and know the difference within yourself. That is my challenge for you. All right, take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.